Hi friends, it's Miss Irvin. I thought I would make a couple of videos to help out your parents with teaching some of the math things, and I'm gonna do a lesson on teaching time. So you can watch this as many times as you need to, over and over, and it's just good practice for you. Also, YouTube, clocks, telling time. Watch all the videos on telling time. There's some really good stuff on YouTube. All right, so I'm gonna start out with my clock. And we already know how to do the o'clocks. We already know how to do the 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and we keep going. We know those times. I know you know the o'clocks. Now we need to start learning how to tell time to the nearest 5 minutes, every 5-minute interval. So let's practice, before we get started, let's practice counting by fives. And we're going to go all the way to 60 because that's going to help you when you're telling time. So when the minute hand, which is the long hand, is on the 12, we're going to count by fives. So this is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. And when you get back to 60, we go back to 0, 0, which is o'clock. So that's your 6 o'clock. So we got to remember how to count by fives. That's going to help you. And it's also good with multiplication, those that are getting ready to start multiplication or already have. Because 1 times 5 is 5. 2 fives are 10. 3 fives are 15. 4 fives are 20. 5 fives are 25. 6 fives is 30. And so on. We'll get into that later. All right, let's look at our clock. It's 6 o'clock right now. This is your hour hand. The short one is your hour hand, and the long hand is the minute hand. So I'm going to write that up here. When you look at the clock, you're going to write the hour first, and then you're going to have a colon, but you got to write the colon because that colon is going to separate your hour from your minutes. And your hours are already printed on the clock. You're going to use the numbers on the clock for your hour. They are printed there. They are in big red numbers. So you're going to look at your shorthand for the hour, and you're going to look at the long hand for your minutes. And a colon's going to separate that. So my shorthand is on the 6, that's your 6, and it's o'clock when it's on the 12. Well, it's going to start moving away from that 12. And when it gets to the 1, that is 6:05. Because when you write the time, you're going to put your hour, and then your minutes has to be 2 digits. So if your minute hand is on the 5, you can't just put 6:05. This is 6:05. You got to remember to put the O in front of it. So that's 6:01, 6:02, 6:03, 6:04, 6:05, 6:06, 6:07, 6:08, 6:09. Now when you get to the 10, you've already got 2 digits. So you would just say this is 6:10. 6:15. 6:20, see I'm counting by fives, 6:05, 6:10, 6:15, 6:20, this is 6:25, this is 6:30. Now did you notice the hour hand is moving from the 6 and it's moving toward the 7? That's what the hour hand does. It takes an hour, 60 minutes to go from 1 hour to the next hour. If we're on 6:30, this is also 6:30. So if you were to write 6:30, you would put your hour, there's your colon, and there's your minutes. So that would be 6:30. Look at 6:35. Look at 6:40. Now look at this hour hand. I know you're going to want to say 7 for the hour, but it's not 7 o'clock yet. It's getting close to 7 o'clock, but the hour is still 6. This is 6:40. This is 6:45. And I know you want to say, no, that's 7:45. It looks like it is on the 7 because this minute hand is almost to 7 o'clock. Not quite there. We're at 6:50, not 7:50. It's getting close because look, in 10 minutes, it's going to be 7 o'clock. So this one is getting very close to the 7. 7:50, this is actually 6:55. See, I almost won't even to say 7, but it's still 6:55. In 5 minutes, it's going to be 7 o'clock. And then we do the same thing again. 7:05, 7:10, 7:15, 7:20, 7:25, 7:30. Just keep your eyes focused on that red hand, the short hand. The short one tells your hour. You always do the hour first. Watch that move away from that 7. Now look, it's between the 7 and the 8 because it's half past. It's 7:30. Watch the hour hand. Just keep your eyes on that hour hand. Look how close it's getting to the 8. But is it 8 yet? Not yet. It's not 8 o'clock. So that time would be, does anybody know what this time is? I'll give you a second to think about it. It's not 8 yet. It's working its way toward the 8. It's almost 8 o'clock. So your hour is 7, and your minutes when you're on the 9. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. So the time is, say it, 7, don't forget your colon, 45. And that's 7:45. So I'm going to give you some to practice. If you want to take out a piece of paper, that will be fine. I'm going to give you a few to practice if you want to pause it and come back in a few minutes. But I sent home a little clock with you for you to practice just like this. So your parents can call out times and say, show me what 7:45 looks like. And you can set the hands on the clock. Or they can take the clock from you and they actually set the clock and they'll give you a time and then you have to look at it. So the first thing I want you to do when you are looking at a clock and you're telling time, let's pretend this is what your clock is set on. First thing you're going to look at is the shorthand, which is going to be the hour, because we always say the hour first. Remember, the hour are the numbers printed on the clock. So when I look at it, it's touching the 10. It's somewhere between the 10 and the 11. So the hour is going to be 10. You always go with the lower one because it's working its way toward the next one. So we've got 10 for the hour, and then my long hand is on the 5. So this is my minute hand. So I've got my hour. I'm going to go with 10. So what are my minutes? This is what you got to work when you do the minutes. You've got to count by 5s. So we're going to start at 0. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So what time is this, class? 10:25. Good job. If you got that, give yourself a round of applause. Have you taught your parents the celebrations that we do? Round of applause. Have you taught them the looking good? Have you taught them the wow? And I know your favorite's probably the roller coaster, so let's do that one real quick. Woo, woo, woo-hoo. I love you guys. I hope that helps with telling time. Watch it as many times as you need to. And parents, send me questions if you have any. And I love you guys. Bye.